Hello, how you doing? Today we're going to look at Proto Dragons, namely one in particular, Galakrond, but also the main 5 that have popped up in World of Warcraft a number of times. The Proto Dragon Power Ranger guys, plus some Pantheon stuff. So let's go! The Pantheon was so pleased with the Keepers' efforts they decided to leave. They still had Titan worlds to find and they were pretty convinced the Keepers had Azeroth covered. The Keepers were pretty gutted about the Pantheon's imminent departure, but they were also proud to be given the honour of safeguarding Azeroth. Loken and Mimiron crafted some artefacts called the Discs of Norgannon. These would record the history of Azeroth as it unfolded. Should the Pantheon ever return, they can, I don't know, slap these DVDs on and do a crash course on how everything went to shit when they left. Amenthal also asked the constellar Algalon the Observer to keep an eye on things. Mainly, if the World Soul ever became corrupted, Algalon would activate the Forge of Origination and purge all life and corruption on the planet. Which is nice. With that, goodbyes were said, Archdus probably cried, and the Pantheon disappeared into the stars. The Titan Forge had done everything required to assure Azeroth's World Soul's development, and now all they could do was wait. Meanwhile, Proto Dragons! These lot lived up in the frozen north of Kalimdor. There were various species of Proto Dragon with a wide array of strengths and abilities. Some were massive with incredible fortitude, spirits tied to the world itself. Others had tapped into the latent elemental energies of the world. But there was one Proto Dragon in particular whose brutality and power overshadowed the rest. His name was Galakrond, or Ron for short. He was the biggest, he was the baddest. Not only was he strong, but he was also extremely cunning. He had an insatiable hunger and basically would just devour everything. This caused him to grow to an even greater size, but his cravings were never satisfied. So he started eating other Proto Dragons, even dead ones. And by eating the dead ones, his body and mind started to warp, his limbs became misshapen, and dozens of eyes sprouted across his face. Death energies wafted off him, reanimating dead matter. This led to his victims rising from the dead as mindless abominations. The rest of the Proto Dragons, fractured by long-standing rivalries, were helpless against this monstrous army, terrorising the skies. Tyr was the first to notice what was going on and attempted to warn his fellow Keepers. However, after the war with the Old Gods and ordering the planet, they were kinda tired. Since the Pantheon had left, the Keepers had become indifferent to the world, focused on simply maintaining their vaults and machines. Tyr wouldn't let his peers' apathy deter him from stopping this threat. He knew Galakrond was a greedy bastard, and had to be stopped before he just ate and warped everything. So he began looking for a means to destroy him and his minions. Tyr found his answer with 5 of the greatest and most intelligent Proto Dragons in existence. Alexstrasza summons fire from her face. Neltharion, incredible strength and a roar that can shatter bone and rock. Malygos summons frost from his face. Ysthera can debilitate enemies, sapping their willpower and putting them in a trance with her face. Nozdormu, sandstorms. That's it, just sandstorms. Tyr approached these 5 power dragons and requested their aid. Initially suspicious, their first response was, "What the balls are you supposed to be? You're the weirdest looking dragon I've ever seen." But they soon vowed to help. Despite their differences, the 5 dragons displayed surprising willingness to work as one. Under Tyr's guidance, Alexstrasza and her companions went to war with Galakrond. They couldn't seem to hurt Galakrond at all, his jagged hide absorbing their attacks with ease. Tyr fought alongside the dragons, but Galakrond bit off his hand, suffusing him with death energy. Although Tyr survived this, his wound will never truly heal. Years later, Tyr will replace his lost hand with one forged of pure silver. This is to symbolise that only through sacrifice can one achieve lasting justice, apparently. Anyway, the 5 dragons were slightly disheartened that they were having no effect on Galakrond, but they kept going. Alexstrasza and co soon found his weakness, hit him in all his weird eyes and soft belly innit. They combined their 5 powers in harmony, trusting in one another. I imagine some kind of rainbow shot out of them and Galakrond was all like, "Gay!" But they won and he died. His lifeless husk smashed into the ground, into the frozen tundra of what would become known as the Dragon Blight. The Proto Dragons had won despite all odds. They had only done so by working together. It was a lesson they would not soon forget. They would carry on this ideal of unity and cooperation for ages to come. Gay! But we're leaving it there! So we have dragons now, in this fantasy world of Warcraft. In the next video we'll see these 5 dragon folks become even more Power Rangery. In case the YouTube header doesn't give it away, that'll be on Friday. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to press that like button, leave a comment if you want, and subscribe too. So I'll see you on Friday. Thanks very much for watching, and see ya!